Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thanks for joining the session, Intuitive, Interactive, and Scalable Webinars. I'm Christina Torok, a Product Marketing Manager at Webex. And over the next 20 minutes, we'll discuss solutions that can help you and your organization deliver engaging marketing webinars, impactful training, and interactive large-scale company-wide events. We're also going to discuss the biggest challenges for hosting successful virtual events and how you can overcome them. Today, I'll also be joined by Rye Johnson, a product manager here at Webex. And Rye's going to show us firsthand some of the most innovative and useful features for your events. We're also very fortunate to have Colin McGuire, Vice President of Corporate Technology at Chipotle, with us today. Colin's going to share how Chipotle has been embracing virtual events to bring together a growing and distributed workforce. So let's jump in. Over the past 18 months, virtual events have skyrocketed in usage, and they're not showing signs of slowing down. In fact, nearly 60% of organizations reported that they plan to increase the number of webinars, virtual, and hybrid events they host, even as they return to in-person. And as more people continue to see the benefits of these online experiences, more and more plan to incorporate them into their in-person engagements. Now, although we've seen this surge in virtual events adoption, there has been challenges. Nearly 50% of people hosting internal events reported that they use more than one platform. And as you may expect, this adds layers of confusion and costs. Then add other challenges that we've all experienced, staying engaged during an online meeting or event, not to mention having to learn new applications, or maybe even worse, teaching customers how to use them so they can participate. So at Webex, we want to help solve these problems. We've been doubling down on investments in our existing technology platforms, as well as bringing in new tools to help address our customers' growing needs. And with these developments, Webex is now the only company that can bring you the power of meetings, webinars, and hybrid events within a single suite. Today, I'm also excited to announce the new Webex Events portfolio, bringing together capabilities to support all event formats and all event types. Socio, the newest addition to the Webex family, enables you to deliver truly hybrid events, from large conferences with concurrent multi-session tracks to community building. It bridges virtual and in-person events to create a connective tissue that brings those formats together for a shared and unified experience, no matter where your attendees are joining from. With a simple drag and drop Event Hub setup, you can use rich, customizable capabilities for branding, ticketing, attendee networking, and even sponsorship and gamification options. Now, when you need a solution for less complex event types, like webinars, all hands, or maybe training sessions, Webex has you covered there too. Within the new events portfolio, we will be renaming our webinar app, currently called Webex Events, to Webex Webinars. Webex Webinars can help you scale your virtual events to reach large audiences, plus use the attendee moderation control and interactive features that are critical for successful events. The app also includes capabilities from Webex that you've grown to love, plus a whole lot more. It's easy to reach up to 10,000 attendees in highly interactive sessions that include polling, Q&A, lots of content layout options, and coming soon, breakout rooms. And if you need to reach more people, you can broadcast up to 100,000 attendees, even with options for Q&A and chat. I'd also like to share some of the most recent Webex innovations that you can take advantage of in your next event. One of my favorite new features, and something that a lot of other webinar applications can't offer, is simultaneous interpretation for audio. This means that attendees have an option to select from various audio channels during a virtual event. There, they can listen to the audio translation of the speaker in their own native language and in real time. This audio translation is a great complement to what we already have for on-screen captions and subtitle translation. Another great feature is the ability to customize registration landing pages. You can completely change the look and feel of your webinar registration experience in less than 5 minutes. And speaking of customizing, next time you host a virtual event with multiple speakers, Try out the customizable stage to manage the view that your attendees are seeing. It's easy to bring a new speaker onto the stage and then remove them if needed by simply dragging their video feed into the event area. And now I'd like to invite Rye to join me so he can show us all of these new features in action.
Thanks, Christina. You definitely hit on some key points that we really focused on in creating the new WebEx webinars.
So Rye, if I'm new to WebEx, how easy is it for me to set up my first event?
Whether you're delivering a webinar for 1,000 people or 100,000, we've made scheduling as easy as setting up a meeting. You're probably already familiar with inviting your speakers and presenters as panelists. Something that's brand new to WebEx webinars, however, is the ability to invite co-hosts. Meetings users may already be familiar with the co-host role. This allows you to have others help share the hosting duties of managing and producing your webinar. We also want to make sure the event properly represents you and your brand. So we've made it easy to create a personalized landing page for your webinar. Customize the logo, background, and color theme to match your brand. You can even add speaker profiles to learn more about who will be presenting in the event.
That's a really great way to manage all of the content. And I love that the landing page can be completely transformed. Now, if I'm running an event, how do I make it feel more professional and polished, even if I don't have a production team to help me?
With our new customizable stage, you have more control than ever over who and what the attendees see at any given time. Host and co-host can simply drag and drop user videos directly onto the stage for all to see. This is a great way to put focus on a particular set of panelists or spotlight a sign language interpreter. Or maybe you just want to keep those other panelists off screen until it's their time to present.
That seems like such an easy way to manage speakers and content and even manage the layout that attendees are seeing.
Exactly. Really simple tools that help your webinar look more polished. Now, when it comes to presenting, there are some key features that help you look and sound more professional here as well. First, you don't have to limit yourself to static content and slides. WebEx will automatically optimize when you're sharing video content, and it includes the ability for everyone to see and hear the video no matter how they've joined. So don't be afraid of bringing in marketing videos, demos, or pre recorded interviews into your webinar. To take content sharing a step further, you can even immerse yourself directly on top of your content, making for a more interesting and engaging experience. Immersive sharing automatically removes your camera background and shows you in front of your presentation. You can easily change the size and position of your camera video, moving yourself around the content that you're sharing.
I can see why the feature is called immersive. It seems like something that could really help attendees focus.
Definitely. Now, when hosting a professional event, it's not just about looking your best, but sounding your best as well, which isn't always easy if you're working from home. This next feature is a favorite for this situation. Let's say I'm in my home office and my kids are playing loudly in the background. The newest AI feature for audio, optimized for my voice, will not only remove the background noise, but actually removes every other voice that isn't my own. This keeps you sounding professional even in less than ideal environments.
I'm in a meeting with Savita, but my other colleagues wander into the meeting and start talking.
It's great. I took the kids
But
to
when I use WebEx
Los
Smart
Angeles,
Audio
Disneyland, a
and
great
switch
time. How
from
about yours?
ordinary
Yeah, we
noise
also went
removal
on a
to
trip to
optimize for my
LA
voice,
and San Diego.
those background voices are eliminated.
That is so cool. I don't think I've ever seen any other platform do that. So, one of the challenges with events, or meetings for that matter, that I mentioned earlier, is people find it difficult to keep audiences engaged. Do you have any suggestions for how someone could optimize for that?
We provide a lot of tools for you to engage with your audience, allowing them to actively participate throughout your event. First, we make it easy for you and your co host to moderate live questions from the audience. Attendees can raise their hand just like if they were there in person and be unmuted by the host to speak. Or you can use breakout sessions to get into smaller, more focused sessions with your panelists. This is great for workshops, training sessions, or encouraging group discussion. And in WebEx, moving between sessions is seamless. Now, features like reactions and Slido give your audience ways to engage non-verbally as well. You can set up polls, surveys, and more either beforehand or quickly on the fly, or interact with your audience through live moderated Q&A. Finally, when it comes to audience engagement and inclusivity, we don't want language to be a barrier. WebEx Webinars includes automated closed captioning standard, and we offer real-time translation to over 100 languages. Or even add interpreters to your event, allowing attendees to select a different audio channel, hearing the event in the language of their choice.
Experiment is about to begin. For Cisco, our task is clear: how to make the world.
Está a punto de comenzar. En Cisco, nuestra tarea es clara, como convertir el mejor lugar del trabajo del mundo.
When it comes to your webinar, we want to make sure you can reach a worldwide audience. These are just a handful of the features we're excited about in the all-new WebEx Webinars, and we're just getting started. We've got a lot more features on the way, so stay tuned.
Thanks for sharing that with us, Rye. It's a great segue to the next part of this session, where we're going to be speaking with Colin McGuire, Vice President of Corporate Technology at Chipotle. Hi, Colin. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Christina. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So can you share a little bit of background with us about the role your team plays in Chipotle?
Absolutely. My teams are responsible for technology from the restaurants through the corporate environments. So essentially, we roll out technology and support it all the way through the organization. So if something breaks, my teams are on the hook to fix it. We try to optimize our decisions around technology around three core criteria. One is enterprise grade, one is security, and the other is ease of use.
Yeah, the ease of use is key, isn't it, as you're trying to roll out new technology?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So over the last 18 months, we have all gone through a lot of changes in our lives and at work, but technology has played a huge role. So tell us a little bit about, some of maybe the challenges that Chipotle faced over the last 18 months.
Sure. I think we went through a lot of challenges that we didn't anticipate over the last 18 months. And thankfully, we found ways to get through them. Essentially, in our restaurant operations, we had to completely shift how we were doing business, and shifted mostly into digital and delivery almost overnight. That caused a lot of stress on the systems that we had in place and the corporate teams that were supporting those, who also had to switch to working remote completely, again, almost overnight. So using collaboration tools, using WebEx, we were able to, from a support perspective, really stay in touch with each other and understand what was going on with the platforms, and keep those lines of communication open so that we could continue to support the restaurants.
Yeah, I'm sure that was a huge change. So, what were some of the types of interactions that you saw employees having, whether they're meeting each other for the first time, they're trying to troubleshoot? How are they doing this remotely?
A few different things. We were able to run events across our different corporate organizations where we could run what we called observation decks or war rooms, and really be in one place looking at the same data, all being face to face, essentially from across the country, and able to work through those issues. We also used team spaces to be able to chat about the problems that we were seeing live in real time and be able to go back to that. We were able to really stay connected, even though we were hours apart in cities and states apart from each other, to be able to continue to see what was important in supporting the restaurant.
So, Colin, with everybody remote, like we've been talking about, what role did communications play in this at the larger scale, leadership communications, your corporate communications? How did you optimize to be able to keep everybody connected?
Yeah, we were able to really increase the frequency of our top-down communications, our town halls, through the use of events, um, by really having a high quality moderated experience where we use live video to deliver a message, and then use moderated Q&A to really bring in the perspective of the field, be able to answer questions live in that way, made for a good two-way communication without having 100 people on a video conference who are unmuting and sharing their screens and things like that. So it was a high value experience for everybody who participated.
So could you tell me a little bit more about your leadership team? I imagine there's a lot of changing directions and guidance, and as the business is trying to move quickly to stay up to speed with all these changes, how was the leadership team communicating? How did they stay connected?
Yeah, you're right. Things change quickly over the last 18 months. And I think one of the things we were able to do is have leadership teams come together and actually use technology like breakout sessions, where we could put a smaller team together in a particular meeting to discuss a particular topic, and then bring those all back together and share the insights that we gleaned. So not everybody had to be in the entire conversation. We also utilized a lot of team spaces where we could continually have a conversation with leadership about any particular topic, and reinvigorate that conversation over days and weeks with new information or with new perspectives.
So, Colin, can you tell me a little bit about before you were using WebEx? What collaboration tools were you using, and what was the reason for the change?
Yeah, I mean, it was a myriad of different solutions, and as you'll remember, WebEx was one of a sea of choices, and everybody was using their own tool. Really, we were after enterprise grade support. We were after secure platform, and we were after quality. And all of those things fed into us standardizing on the WebEx platform. Because there's no solution out there that really fits the bill on all three of those criteria.
That's great to hear. I guess one more question for you before you go. I would love to hear what the future looks like in this hybrid world for Chipotle, as we have a lot of people remote, and we also have a lot of people that will hopefully be going back in person soon. So how are you guys going to tackle that?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, Christina. We're working on it right now. We're going to see what the future looks like, and I think we have the tools in place to be able to adapt to what we need to. Over the last 18 months, we've onboarded something like 500 new employees. We've used WebEx video technology for the interview cycle, the orientation, training, and really introducing people into the culture that is so important to Chipotle. We've been able to use tools like team spaces for projects or for just team communication, to really get people who have never met each other able to have valuable interactions with each other. So whether we stay hybrid, whether we come back together as two different corporate centers, one in California and one in Ohio, I think that the culture has embraced the technology enough so that we can use it as a valuable tool to stay connected in the future.
That makes a lot of sense. That is all the time we have. Colin, I want to thank you so much for joining us and sharing these insights.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you to everyone else for watching. We appreciate your time today at WebexOne. If you'd like to learn more about virtual events, please visit the URL on the screen. Have a good WebexOne.